Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Monday as you are listening to the show today. We, however, have pre-recorded our conversation over Zoom. We are chatting today with Sherry Airy. She is the Director of Family Promise of Shenandoah County. Along with her on the Zoom screen is Diane Pence. She is their outreach coordinator. Ladies, thank you both so much for taking some time to chat with me today. I'm excited to learn about Family Promise of Shenandoah County.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Explain to me exactly what your organization is and what type of community members you serve.
The Family Promise started in 2016 here in Shenandoah County. We have what we call a family center here in Woodstock, and we shelter families with children who are experiencing homelessness. And our shelter model, until COVID happened, our shelter model was we had a series of churches that our families would go to in the evening to spend the night. And they can spend the night together as the whole family. The church provided volunteers to be with the family. They gave them dinner. They had activities for the children, and they gave them a place to sleep. Now, we also have a van that would pick the families up in the morning, bring them back to the family center, where the families then would get ready to go to work, children go to school. They could make breakfast here if they wanted to. And then we had case management that's here at the family center. So during the day, if the family or the parents were not working, they're looking for employment, our case manager helps them with filling out housing applications. We take them to appointments and those kinds of things so that we can work on getting that family back stable and into permanent housing.
You have 4 core things that you typically will provide to families. One of them is the HUSH program, which is Help Us Stabilize Housing. Explain how that works.
That is a lot of times when families come to us because of whatever situation happened that caused them to lose their housing. They've also lost everything, like documents that they need, birth certificates, Social Security cards. They need help sometimes with clothing, any of those items that you just need to survive. And so our HUSH fund then helps with getting them their Social Security card back. Now, of course, that's free, so we don't have to pay for that, but we do have to go to Winchester or Harrisonburg, usually to a Social Security office, or sometimes we would get a taxi to be able to take them those places. Birth certificates we would get at the DMV. They cost $14, so often families need those, particularly if they're going to move into an apartment complex. The children need their birth certificates. So we would help get those things back in place. Again, clothing, because our kids come a lot of times and they've had to leave everything. So our HUSH fund then helps to get those basic needs back in place so that when the kids go to school, they have the backpacks, they have the shoes and the clothes that they need. So we try to wrap the family in all those things that they need just to be independent a little bit, again, as we work on the housing and the employment part.
And it helps with their self-esteem.
It's never really just about being homeless. I mean, it's not ever just about where am I going to sleep tonight or where am I going to come home from work to at the end of the day. There are so many other issues that surround someone who is homeless that really does have, as Diane said, an impact not just on your self-esteem, but just on your ability to motivate yourself to keep going and putting one foot forward every day.
Right. And that's what we find, that once we can kind of get some of those basic things back in place, once they get that birth certificate, once that child has the new backpack or a pair of shoes, we really see the family just sort of begin to change. They can start holding their heads up again because there's some hope, and they realize that Family Promise and all our volunteers, that we really are going to wrap them up, and we're going to surround them, and we're going to really help them and be there and support them with whatever they need.
So in addition to the sheltering in the evenings, do you also have transitional housing that people can stay in until they find their permanent place?
Yes, we do. Right now, we're fortunate to have 3 apartments that we work with, the landlords, and we have 3 families in those apartments. They are working, they are paying part of their rent or most of their rent, while we also continue to provide that case management. We help them with budgeting skills. We help them make sure that their food budget is working out. If they need help with employment or getting to that employment, we can help with some of those things. But the transitional housing, they could stay with us up to 2 years. They're also working on saving money so that at the end of that 2 years, we can give them a good recommendation into a permanent location. And then they would have some savings too that would help them make that down payment or that deposit in the first month's rent.
We hear a lot of nonprofits use the phrase that you want to give a hand up, not a hand out. And it really sounds like you guys are checking all of the boxes to do just that.
We really try to do that because we find that the first month or so, it is just a matter of getting them back into the world, into living again. And that sometimes it does take a year or 2 years for them to really be stable again. And so we want to be there that entire time so that they really are then sustainable and that they don't lapse back into homelessness again.
What kind of an impact has COVID-19 had on being able to provide these types of services and programs to some of your families?
Diane, you want to take that?
It's kind of turned everything upside down for sure. Of course, we no longer have our rotational model in place, but we've sort of switched out to helping folks remain housed. I mean, it's great that the rent moratorium is on and the eviction moratorium and some of the utility cutoffs. But when folks have lost their jobs and, lost their income, there's a lot of other ways they need help. And we've been able to provide a lot of that. We've had one donor gave us 1,100 pounds of ground beef, and we've been able to help many families with food during this time and other things.
So Diane, as outreach coordinator, are you mostly working with families to make sure they know these programs and services are there, or are you, and maybe both, are you also working with local businesses and community members to make sure that you have what you need to provide to those families?
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of both. I mean, our case managers are much more involved with the families, but I do a lot of posts on Facebook about things that are available, help that's available, so that not only our guests follow us on Facebook often, but there's lots of people in the community who have relatives and friends who are in tough situations, and we want them to know our services and what else is available in the community. So some of our reach is towards that, but a lot of it is towards our donor base. Businesses, churches, other nonprofits like the Rotary, the Lions Club, Burritons. So I work with all of that.
And it's interesting when you were telling me earlier, Sherry, about how the system works rotating through the churches. It sounds to me very similar to what a lot of the thermal shelters do, only during the winter. So I can't imagine having this system in place that operates year round. And now I'm guessing the need has probably doubled, if not tripled, because of COVID. And yet you have been limited, if not double, then triple in what you're able to provide.
Right. And of course, COVID did put a whole lot of things on hold. But we are open 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. That's how we ran our shelter, or our model. But we are seeing that there are needs out there. But again, as Diane said, with the eviction moratorium in place, we have been doing a lot more of prevention and diversion, trying to help those families not get so far behind, so that when we hopefully come out of this on the other side, that then they will still be able to be sustained in their housing.
And that's the most important piece.
And one thing we're kind of looking for is a little more transitional housing so that we can put folks into transitional housing when the evictions start up. But also because we are not able to rotate to the churches and we really don't know when that's going to, open up again, we're looking for a static site to help house folks overnight so that we're not going from place to place and exposing a lot of volunteers and that sort of things.
And I know that's what I was reading an article earlier about the Winchester area thermal shelter, and that's what they've had to do is find a static location that everybody can go to every single night, because it wasn't possible anymore to rotate through all of the churches and maintain the safety protocols that need to be done during COVID.
Right. And we're in contact with the folks in Winchester. Here in Shenandoah County, all of our nonprofits, we all meet regularly. We all talk about the needs. We all talk about what we're seeing, what the requests are, so that we are able to serve as many people as possible.
So when they say it takes a village, that's not really just a saying. That's really how it works in Shenandoah County.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, it takes a valley around here.
Yeah.
That it's up and down the valleys.
And we work very closely with Shenandoah Alliance for Shelter, trying to place folks and in housing, and also to help us out a little bit with some nights in hotels and things like that.
I know that you guys have a virtual fundraiser that's going on right now. It's gonna go on through October 12th, and that's one of the things that we want to talk about. It's Night Without a Bed. Can we take a commercial break and then come back and have you give me the details for how people can participate in Night Without a Bed?
Sure.
You'll have to edit the doorbell out.
I may leave it in for
That's
character.
right. There we go.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Sherry Airy. She is the Director of Family Promise of Shenandoah County. Joining her on the Zoom screen today is Diane Pence. She is their Outreach Coordinator. We're going to talk about their virtual fundraiser, Night Without a Bed. It started on September 21st and is continuing through October 12th, and you will learn how you can participate when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Monday. As you are listening to the show today, we, however, have pre-recorded our conversation on the Zoom screen with Sherry Airy. She is the Director of Family Promise of Shenandoah County. Along with her on the Zoom is Diane Pence. She is their Outreach Coordinator. And ladies, we talked in the first segment about all of the different services and programs that Family Promise of Shenandoah County offers. And of course, while much of that comes at no cost to your guests, I mean, they are working to pay portions of their rent and things like that. It doesn't come at no cost completely to you for you to be able to offer those services. And that's why you have fundraisers. I'm interested about this Night Without a Bed. Explain to me what that fundraiser is and how you came up with that idea.
Family Promise of Shenandoah County is part of Family Promise, a national organization. So we have headquarters in New Jersey, and we've always had what we called Cardboard City, which is when we don't have COVID. Actually, we have folks come make cardboard boxes or whatever they choose to sleep in, and we had an actual event at one of our churches. So this year, of course, with COVID and events having to be virtual, Family Promise National came up with Night Without a Bed. And there was a national campaign earlier this year. And so Family Promise of Shenandoah County now has Night Without a Bed that started Monday. It's just an opportunity for folks to get some sponsors, raise $100 or whatever they want to raise, that's fine, and spend the night someplace other than their bed. And so we're asking folks to be creative, make some videos of where you're sleeping. It could be in a car, it could be out in your yard, a tent on the floor,
we're really excited about a lot of the events that are going on within this 3-week period. If you go to our website, shenandoahfamilypromise.org, you can get all the details, but there's a lot of activities that we're going to have a virtual bingo Friday night. Sherry's going to read some bedtime stories a couple of nights. There's a game called Spent that you can go online and play, which is similar to the poverty simulation that we used at some other educational events. We also have some movies we recommend, a movie we recommend that you might want to watch, a book, it's called Evicted. That is a great read. So we're just really excited to have folks participate and send us photos and videos of how they're spending their night without a bed.
We're all speaking on a Zoom screen, and it's only the campaign only started a day ago. So we're less than 24 hours in. As people are listening, you've got a week under your belt with 2 weeks left for people to participate. How many would you like to see ultimately take part in this fundraiser?
Oh, thousands.
That's right. Yes.
But we've already heard from at least 4 teams that we know of that probably are composed of about 20 people. And then our donations have started coming in online. You can go online, and there's all of the information on how to donate is on our website, and vote for your favorite team with dollars. So there will be prizes for the team that raises the most dollar amount, the team that has the most creative setting for their night without a bed, and each individual that raises over $100 will receive a t-shirt.
Well, and it's interesting too, because you talk about finding some place that you can spend the night that isn't as comfortable as, of course, your own bed would be. And we do a fundraiser every year through the radio station called Camping for Hunger. And we park a hollowed out school bus at Royal Plaza Shopping Center, and we broadcast live for the entire week before Thanksgiving. And we all take turns sleeping on that bus. And we're there 24 hours a day. The bus doesn't have heat. It is sheltered, but it doesn't have heat. And it gets pretty cold the week before Thanksgiving. We're having to tweak that a little bit again this year because of COVID as well. But that was one of the rules of sorts that our station owner set out, is he said, I want everyone to understand the people that are coming to, in this case, Front Rural Warren County CCAP, for this food are struggling. And you guys need to walk a mile in their shoes. So this is a really good fundraiser to give that eye-opening experience to someone.
Yes. We get real comfortable in our beds at home, and when you don't have that bed, it's really, really hard.
So what are some other ways, if someone's listening today, that they can support Family Promise? I mean, obviously you would take donations, monetary donations, any time of year. I always say to my nonprofits, preferably checks with commas in them. But how would somebody reach out to make a donation to you from a money perspective?
We did have volunteers before COVID that would come help at the Family Center. We've also are taking some food donations. We're working on making kits up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that we have in a box that's all ready to go out the door when somebody calls us. We also have limited storage here, but sometimes we are able to take donations of small household items to help families when, furnish their apartments when they get into a place. We aren't able to take clothing, but really the monetary donations is always the right size and color.
On the show Friday, I had Elise from United Way of Northern Shenandoah Valley, and we were talking about the different ways that you can help them. People are able to do a fundraiser on Facebook and designate United Way as the beneficiary. Do you guys at Family Promise have the ability? Can I go onto my personal Facebook page and say I want to do a fundraiser and designate you and your organization as the beneficiary?
Absolutely. And we just got a check this week from someone who did a fundraiser. And so it's always a nice surprise when that comes in. And I also want to mention that our prayer warriors mean so much to us, to keep us in your thoughts and prayers. And so far with Family Promise, every door that has needed to be opened has been opened. And sometimes we don't know why that door opened, and then the next week we find out. It's just amazing.
So if somebody is listening today, before we wrap up, where can they go to get more information about the Night Without a Bed fundraiser, about the programs, about what might be on a wish list that you need from a donation perspective? Where is the best first place for them to start?
on our website. And then just call the center. We welcome phone calls. We'll be glad to talk about what we need right now, what we're seeing out in the community, those kinds of things. But our phone number is on the website too, but just check our website, shenandoahfamilypromise.org.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to have this conversation with me. And I appreciate the fact that you guys are having to sit closer than 6 feet so you're both wearing masks.
we try to practice what we preach here. Yes. When we're in with each other, we wear our masks.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I will put all of the information that we have discussed today, including the link to both the fundraiser and their website, as well as the phone number, up on the podcast page. You can head over to theriver953.com, click on podcasts. There you'll find the Valley Today. All that information is already up and active. So if you're listening right now, you can open that up on your phone and go click through and join the fundraiser, or just start writing your checks with commas, because that's always the best thing to do.
Thank you.
I will be back tomorrow. It is Tourism Tuesday, as it always is on a Tuesday, and I haven't done it yet, but the plan is that I am going out to the golf course, to the Front Royal Golf Club. I'm going to chat with the new managers over there, so I will have that show ready to go for you tomorrow. Meet me back here just a few minutes after noon.